You won't believe what just happened. A few hours ago, the Russian man who had all of Kenya hunting for him has finally opened his mouth, and what he just said has left the entire country completely and totally stunned. He claims he is innocent. He claims every single woman he filmed knew about it. He claims Kenya has the wrong man. But wait, because what he said next made everything 10 times worse. And this is the most bizarre twist in what is already the most shocking scandal to ever grip East Africa.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex from the Ananasic channel, and I'm just a regular travel blogger. I usually travel to many different countries, where I film typical tourist content and talk to local people, and that is basically it. But lately, people have actually started confusing me with a man named Vyacheslav, who is some blogger that is currently wanted by the police in one of the African countries. I don't even look like him. Take a close look at how I look now and then compare it to how he looks. We are completely different people. I've never met him, and I only found out about him literally 2 or 3 days ago. For some reason, many of my videos are being attributed to Vyacheslav, even though he has nothing to do with my content, just as I have nothing to do with his videos. He used a small hidden camera to film all his videos, whereas I use a regular camera for my travel blog, which everyone can see right away and you simply can't hide it from their view. So everyone I filmed was aware from the very start that they were being recorded, and I always made sure to inform them about the process. What kind of filming? To be honest, these are just regular travel blogs. All of the girls who appeared in my blog, I actually knew them personally. They are all my good friends, and we were just hanging out and having a really wonderful time together.
And by the end of this video, you will not know what to believe. Before we get into his actual words, and trust me, you need to hear exactly what this man said. Let us rewind, because if you're just catching up with this story, you need to understand why an entire nation of over 50 million people was looking for one single Russian man. Well, it started with clips, short videos posted across social media platforms. A man believed to be of Russian origin, wearing Ray-Ban glasses, was spotted in multiple locations across Nairobi, malls, restaurants, public streets, and in every single video he appeared to be secretly recording Kenyan women without their knowledge, without their consent, and the camera angles were deliberate. The framing was unmistakable, and Kenyans were furious. The clips spread like wildfire. Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, WhatsApp groups, and within hours, the hashtag was trending. Within a day, it had become the single biggest talking point in the country. People were calling for his arrest. Women were sharing their own encounters with suspicious foreign men. The Directorate of Criminal Investigations, the DCI, was tagged in thousands of posts, and Kenyans wanted answers. Kenyans wanted justice, and they wanted the man found. But here is where the story took a turn that nobody expected, because as the internet dug deeper, names started surfacing. One name in particular kept coming up again and again: Yaytseslav, a known content creator with a reputation that precedes him. This individual had built a following for filming women in foreign countries, often in ways that many described as exploitative, degrading, and deeply disrespectful. His content had already drawn outrage in other parts of the world, and when Kenya saw the clips circulating online, they connected the dots: same nationality, same style, same sunglasses, same predatory energy. The conclusion was unanimous: this must be him, this must be Yaytseslav. And with that conclusion came an explosion of rage, unlike anything the Kenyan internet had seen in recent memory. Influencers made a call-out video. News stations picked up the story. Politicians weighed in. Even diaspora Kenyans, living thousands of miles away, were demanding for action. The man became the most wanted foreigner in Kenya, not by law enforcement, but by the court of public opinion, and in that court, he had already been tried, convicted, and sentenced. But that is not all. Wait until you hear what happened next. For days, this man has been saying nothing, absolute silence, no statement, no video, no social media post, nothing. And in the age of the internet, silence is not neutral, silence is loud, silence is suspicious, and to millions of Kenyans watching, waiting, refreshing their feeds every hour, his silence was a confession. People began speculating. Had he fled the country? Was he hiding in a safe house? Had someone gotten to him first? Theories multiplied. Some claimed that he had been spotted at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, trying to board a flight. Others said he was still in Nairobi, moving between Airbnbs, and one viral post even claimed that a group of boda boda riders had cornered him in Westlands, though that was never confirmed. The silence stretched on. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, each day without a word. The anger grew hotter, the accusations grew louder, and the narrative became more cemented. This man was guilty. End of discussion. And then a few hours ago, everything changed. He posted a video, and within minutes, the internet stopped, in what can only be described as the most anticipated response in recent Kenyan internet history. The Russian man finally broke his silence, and what he said has divided the entire country straight down to the middle. Speaking directly into the camera, visibly shaken but composed, he made the following claims, and I need you to listen carefully because every single word matters. First, he stated clearly and without hesitation that he is a travel vlogger. That is it, a travel content creator. He says he has been traveling across multiple African countries, documenting his experiences, filming the places he visits, the food he eats, the people he meets, and the culture he encounters. He claims that Kenya was simply another stop on a long journey of content creation. Second, and this is the part that made jaws drop across the country, he claimed that he is being confused with someone else entirely. He specifically named Yaytseslav. He said, and I quote his sentiments here, and the internet has made a terrible mistake, that he and Yaytseslav are two completely different people, two individuals, two different creators, two different lives. He called it a case of mistaken identity, and he seemed genuinely distressed by the association. Third, he addressed the videos directly, the clips showing him with Kenyan women, the content that sparked entire firestorm. He claimed that every single woman featured in any of his videos is someone he personally knows. He described them as very close friends, and he asked unequivocally that each of them was fully aware that the camera was rolling. He said that they consented. He said that they participated willingly, and he said that there was no secret recording, no hidden cameras, and no exploitation. He was distancing himself completely and totally from the Russian Ray-Ban man narrative. Now, you will think that a public statement will calm things down. You will think that an explanation will bring some clarity. But this is the internet, and in Kenya, this response did the exact opposite. The reaction was immediate, volcanic, and deeply divided. On one side, there were those who paused, who said, wait, what if he is telling the truth? What if we really did get the wrong person? What if an innocent man has had his life, his reputation, his safety destroyed because the internet moved too fast and verified too slow? These voices pointed out something uncomfortable, something that many did not want to hear, that in the rush to find the villain, due process was abandoned, that screenshots were treated as evidence, that resemblance was treated as proof, and that mob justice, even digital mob justice, can destroy an innocent person just as easily as a guilty one. On the other side, the skeptics, and there were many, thousands upon thousands of Kenyans who watched this video and said 3 simple words: we do not believe you. They pointed out to the specific angles in his footage, the way the camera lingered, the framing that seemed too deliberate, too targeted, to be casual, travel content. They asked pointed questions. If these women are your close friends, why have none of them come forward to confirm your story? Where are their statements? Where are their videos saying, yes, I knew I was being filmed and I was okay with it? Why is your defense your word alone? They also questioned the timing. Why did it take so many days to respond? If you are truly innocent, why did you just not speak immediately? Why did you let the narrative spiral out of control for nearly a week before saying a single word? And perhaps the most damning question of all, if this is really truly a case of mistaken identity, then where is the real person? Where is the actual individual responsible for the predatory content, and why has no one found him yet? There is one element of this story that has not received nearly enough attention, and it might be the most important element of all: the women. He claims they are all his close friends. He claims that they knew they were being filmed, but as of this moment, not a single one of these women has come forward publicly to confirm or deny his account. Not one. And that silence is louder than anything he said in his video. Because if these women are truly his friends, and if they truly consented, then the videos would be the single most powerful defenses he could have. A simple video, a simple statement, even a simple social media post saying, yes, I know this person, and yes, I agreed to be in his content. That will shift the entire narrative overnight. But that has not happened, and every hour that passes without collaboration is an hour that works against his credibility. Now, it is also possible that these women are afraid that the intensity of the public backlash has made them reluctant to come forward for fear of being targeted themselves. That is a real and a legitimate concern. Coming forward in the middle of a digital firestorm when emotions are this high takes an enormous amount of courage, and we should not underestimate the pressure these women might be under, regardless of where the truth lies. But until they speak, the story remains incomplete. The puzzle is missing its most critical piece. Step back from this specific case for a moment. Step back from the accusation, the denial, the mistaken identity claims, and the viral outrage, and look at what this entire episode reveals. It reveals something profound and deeply uncomfortable about the world we now live in. We live in an age where a single video can mobilize an entire nation, where accusations travel at the speed of light, but verification moves at the speed of bureaucracy, where guilt is determined not by evidence, but by the engagement, not by investigation, but by algorithm, and where the punishment, the public humiliation, the threats, the digital exile is delivered before the trial even begins. Kenya's response to this situation, the speed, the intensity, the collective outrage, shows something beautiful and something terrifying at the same time. Beautiful because it shows a society that cares deeply about protecting its women, that refuses to tolerate exploitation, and that stands up loudly and fiercely when it perceives a threat. That protectiveness, that solidarity is something to be admired, but terrifying because that same energy, if misdirected, can destroy someone who does not deserve it, and the internet, for all its power, has no mechanism for correction that matches its mechanism for accusation. An accusation reaches 10 million people in an hour. A correction, if it ever comes, reaches 10,000 people over a week. The damage is almost always permanent. This case, regardless of how it ends, should force all of us to ask the hard questions about how we consume information online, about how quickly we share unverified claims, about how easily we participate in digital mob justice from the safety of our screens without ever stopping to ask, what if we are wrong? So where does this go from here? Because this story is far from over. Several things need to happen, and they need to happen quickly. First, the Directorate of Criminal Investigation need to make a clear public statement. Are they investigating this individual? Have they interviewed him? Have they verified his identity and confirmed whether or not he is connected to Yaytseslav or any other creator accused of predatory behavior? The public deserves clarity, not speculation, not rumors, clarity. Second, the women in his videos need to be heard. This story has shaken Kenya to its core. A man the entire country believed was a predator now claims he is a victim. A case that seemed opened and shut now has cracks running through every wall. And the truth, the actual verified and deniable truth, is still out there waiting to be found. A clear and a definitive identification needs to be established if this truly is a case of mistaken identity that needs to be proven beyond doubt, and if it is not, if the evidence shows that his claims are false, then that too needs to be established through a proper channel, not through viral tweets. I'll be following every single development in this case, every statement, early investigation update, every new piece of evidence, and I will be bringing it to you the moment it drops. So, if you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on the notifications because the next update in this story could change everything we think we know. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe his explanation? Do you think this is really a case of mistaken identity? Or do you think this is a carefully crafted defense designed to escape accountability? I want to hear from you. Every single opinion matters. Share this video with someone who has been following the story because they need to hear what he actually said. Until next update, stay informed, stay critical, and remember, on the internet, the truth does not always arrive fast, but it always eventually arrives.